Hello, guys. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to another Movies from the 2010s slash Disney month. Now we talk about the sequel to the 2010 surprise hit, Diary of a Kid. This is one of my favorite sequels because it really surprised me. I'm going to give a backstory why I love the sequel so much. It's the second in the series from 2011. It came out in March of 2011. It was a huge hit. It hit number one at the box office, beating out another certain film, which I'll talk about shortly. Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2, Rodrick Rules. To me, the best of the franchise so far. And it was also a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award winner in 2011. It deserved it because I thought it was very funny. Anyway, backstory. I saw this movie in the theater 2 days after I saw Zack Snyder's most disappointing movie. No, it's not BVS. It was Sucker Punch. I saw that movie in the theater and I was so let down. I was in a funk for 2 days. I was so depressed. I was so let down. I felt like, the world had just crumbled on, my cinematic world just crumbled in front of me. But then I saw this movie in the theater. I saw it at night with a bunch of kids and families there, and I laughed my ass off, and the movie cheered me up. That's why I love the sequel. It hit number one. It made like over $25 million, making its budget back its opening weekend. It cheered me up. The movie made me laugh a lot. It wasn't some soulless movie like Sucker Punch was. I love the characters more. Roderick, this is his film. He just cracks me up. Devin Bostic just cracks me up. He's so over the top, but he's a lot of fun. And this is the Blu-ray. This is the first Blu-ray I ever bought on my own. There's the DVD, and there's a digital copy. This movie's a lot of fun. Just like the first one, I think it amps up the first one. It improves on the first one. It's got a more fluid story. Greg is definitely more likable in this film because he gets Raleigh in less trouble than the first one. He does get him into trouble, but it's not as much. He doesn't hurt Raleigh as badly as in the first film. I mean, there's a scene where he sits on a spiky ball of aluminum foil. That makes me laugh with an underwear on his head. Yeah, they do silly things because they're kids. That Kesha song doesn't bother me in the beginning of the film. They brought a new character. Peyton List plays Holly, who is really, really cute. I think she's adorable. I never saw Jessie or Bunked because I was not a fan of that, but she's really cute. I like her as an actress. She had a small part in Sorcerer's Apprentice, and she did a movie last year called The Swap, which I thought was really well done with her and Jacob Bertrand. She's going to be a very lovely young lady when she's 21. She's like 18 now, so she's legal. And I thought it was funnier than the first film. There's a scene in the church that made me laugh hard. I laughed in the theater harder than the kids. I was on the floor laughing. The scene at the end in the during not the concert, the talent show, where Rodrick is crying because um, Patty Farrell's singing a song from Cats, and she's singing really well, and he's crying. I was on the floor like the whole time. The party scene that made me laugh a lot because he's so funny. Like Devin Bostic, just he steals this movie from all the other characters. Raleigh's back, played by Robert Capron. He has a lot of moments to shine. These people have life to them. Sucker Punch is five girls in a fantasy world where nothing happens and there's no threat. Here, this has a fluid story, was a better movie. It wasn't soulless, and it made more money. So fuck you, Sucker Punch. Hate that movie. It's the most disappointing movie I've ever seen in the movie theater. And the adults are back. You got Rachel Harris comes back as the mom. She's having fun in the movie. Steve Zahn is back in the film. Um, I like that it has a brotherly friend, rivalry, but it's about how families have to stick together and be there for each other. I get that message. It was really well done. The talent show, the Loaded Diaper song, that was pretty awesome. It's a nice rock song. It was pretty badass because and the movie was well. It had a new director. It was David Bowers. He's a British director, but he did a really good job with this. I don't think this will be topped. I love the sequel. It's a family film that made me laugh hard in the theater. I didn't just chuckle. I laughed loud in the theater, and just I saw this movie a lot in 2011 and 2012. It's one of the most overlooked sequels of 2011. I mean, a lot of sequels came out that year, but this one, too bad the Academy doesn't give Academy Awards for kids movies because this should have gotten at least Best Original Screenplay or like at least adapted screenplay from a book that was really well done. And I didn't read Rodrick Rules, but I heard the book is just as good as the film. It's hilarious. Like I laughed a lot. Problems. Well, like in the first film, there's some characters that kind of are there. Like Raleigh, they show his father. He looks like Gary Oldman. Um, there's a lot of filler in it. Like, well, it's only like 99 minutes, so it's a little bit longer than the first film. There's some subplots that kind of like are there to fill time. Uh, Manny, Greg's little brother. I forgot to mention him in the first film. He talks more in this movie. He's really cute. Fregley, anything with Fregley usually is just like gross out humor with him because he's weird. The scene with the pizza that he takes a gum and put it behind his ear. He's a weird kid. He's like St. John from Victorious. But this movie cheered me up. And if any movie cheers me up in the theater after having a funk from that horrible disgrace of a disappointment called Sucker Punch, I will give it the pass. It could have been anything. It could have been this, or it could have been Cars 2. And if it cheered me up, hey, I'm gonna admit it on camera. I like this more than Rango because Rango I thought was too adult for children, and this was very much funnier. I like the characters. It had the same fun of the first film. It enhanced the storylines of these characters. Once again, Robert Capron and Zachary Gordon, they have really good chemistry as Raleigh and Greg. And they say Zooey Mama once this time, and the cheese touch, they mention it once from the first film. Chloe Grace Moretz is not in this one because she was doing Kick Ass, but it's fine. I like Peyton List as her substitute. I really think she's very cute, and she didn't make as many bad movies as Chloe Grace Moretz, just to say it. Because at least she didn't do The Fifth Wave, and I like her. I've always thought she was a cutie. This is Peyton List, the younger version. There's also a Peyton R. List that did Frequency, which I was not a fan of, and The Tomorrow People, and she did an episode of Flash. She played Captain Cold's sister. Anyway, this is a funny movie. This is a really good sequel. I think it's the best of the trilogy. I think, it's just as funny as the first film. Really fun moments with the characters. A lot of memorable scenes that I remember from the theater. I laughed so much. I mean, my mom's not a big fan of these movies because she's like, oh, it's just gross out humor and there's not a coherent story. I think the story is fine. And they still have the illustration animations from the first film. They have those in all three films. And it's a fun family movie that I think excels. And it's not animated. It's not done by Disney. It's something done very well. And I'm grateful that this movie was a hit because it deserved every bit of accolades it got. And wow, man, this box is hard to close. It's not closing. But anyway, Dire Wimpy Kid Rodrick Rules is fun. It's a lot of fun. And for your kids, I think they'll get a kick out of it. I know I did. I'm an adult, and I laughed my ass off. And I will say this right now. This got a less critical reception than Fembusters. This is funnier. This didn't have stupid queef jokes in it. It didn't have wonton jokes or anything like that. It made me laugh, and it didn't have to curse to be funny either. So that's that. There you go. It's a good movie. I really enjoy Dire Wimpy Kid 2, Rodrick Rules, the best of the trilogy, and it's almost a nearly perfect film except for a couple of scenes that were just filler. They were there for fan service from the first film, or just there to take up time. But anyway, I really love that sequel. I think it's a really funny movie, and families should watch all three of them. The fourth one I'm not looking forward to because they're just recasting everybody, and that just seems like a cop out. It's like Spy Kids 4 all over again. But this is much better than Spy Kids 4. That came out the same year, and this is much better. I guarantee it. Less CGI, better story, better characters, better movie. Enough said. Anyway, that's my review for Diary Wimpy Kid, Rodrick Rules. I hope you guys watch it because it's worth your time. And it's a kid's film, but it's more like, it's a family film and it got a lot of heart to it. And the characters seem human. They don't act like cartoon characters, except for Rodrick because he just makes me laugh. Just, Devin Bostic is hilarious. Like, he's Canadian, like Jim Carrey, and he's got all this energy and he's got these big, crazy eyes. He's just really, really talented guy. I love that guy. He just makes me smile. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.